What's up, everybody? It is the Best Spot Kid Smooth, and it's been a little bit. I was able to get my hands on God of War early. You guys saw me on Twitter with the picture. Went to New York City to go get it. I was able to get it on Wednesday. I started playing Wednesday night, all day Thursday, and started it again this morning. Figure I'd do this video before I go out and get my hair cut. But wow, my experience with the game so far, I mean congrats to Sony and Sony Santa Monica for the work they've done on this game. Everything's top notch. I played it on my PlayStation 4 Pro. I played it on my PlayStation 4 Slim. I played it on a Sony 900E TV HDR shebang. Looks amazing. Played it on my Samsung CHG70, which is the 1440p HDR monitor, which also does 4K. Looks phenomenal. The HDR, actually, the HDR is actually pretty good on this thing. And also played it on the standard 4K monitor at 1080p. And I'm telling you, for all the screens I've seen it on, I mean, it looks and it runs beautifully. Good looking game. My thoughts on the game so far is that for God of War, and let me tell you guys a little bit of a background on my thoughts on God of War in general. I was never a big fan of the original God of War trilogy. I played God of War 1. I played a little bit of God of War 2. I tried to get into 3. I played Ascension on PS Now. Even though I'm a fan of the hack and slash, I didn't really care for the scope of God of War. I didn't like it. It wasn't something like, oh well, you know, I can't wait to God of War. It's like whatever. If God of War came on the PS4 as like that, or like the God of War 3 remaster, like even I bought the God of War 3 remaster. I didn't like it. Couldn't stand it. So coming into this game, you know, when they switched it up with how the camera angle is going to work, how the combat is, how they changed up everything, I was like, you know what, this one actually looks very interesting and is more of my level, more of my taste of what I want in an action game. And I'm happy to say that they delivered. Graphics top notch. Story so far is pretty good, and things are starting to open up for me. And you can tell they really put a lot of money into this, a lot of Hollywood into this, a lot of trying to get you emotionally connected to the characters in this game. And they've had, obviously they put an RPG element into this game. There's skill trees, there's upgrades, whether it be from your armor to your weapons and whatnot. A lot of people tried to, you know, to compare it to like with Dark Souls and stuff, but there's not really options for it. To me, it's not really a like a Dark Souls type of game. Only thing in comparison to me is really the combat. You don't use face buttons to fight anymore. You use the triggers and the bumpers. You got light attacks, heavy attacks. You can block, you can parry. Actually, I did the first boss fight that everybody's showing on YouTube with the stranger. I fought him without using my shield because I didn't realize that I forgot that you had a shield in this game. So that's why I think that's what it was a little tough for me. But I didn't use a shield at all. I just kind of just beat his ass. But the opening sequence is amazing. But after that, it does get very, very slow, and you kind of have to like just work your way through that before the action starts to pick up. I don't know how many hours I got into it. I played the bulk of this game yesterday, like starting it in the morning all the way until like breaking, I think up until like midnight or something like that, and then I started again this morning. So I mean, I'm not super powered or anything like that. I don't know how the leveling system works right now because it's showing that I'm probably at like in total overall level like a level 3 for like my items and stuff like that. But even though I unlocked a whole lot of things and explored a lot, so I'm still trying to get my hands on how they're implemented, because there's a lot in there upgrading and leveling up system, and I'm not sure how much it's impacting. The way there you can't really farm in this game. There's no kill an enemy, die, and then go back and try to loot that those enemies. There's permadeath to the enemies. They die. The only way you really farm throughout this game is trying to explore the different areas, unlocking different chests, solving puzzles, and all that, which is all done great. The collaboration with you and Atreus is amazing. I thought Atreus was going to be very annoying. I didn't think I would like him, but so far he's not a nuisance. He's not annoying. I actually like his character. I actually like his character a lot, and how they implemented his combat into the single control system, and allowing you get to upgrade his stuff, his weapons, his arrows, and how you can now go back and backtrack, because now you get access to stuff that you didn't have at the beginning of the game, and now there's certain chests I can go back and get because now I know I have the equipment to unlock it, which is pretty awesome. As far as I think I don't have really a problem with God of War itself as a game. It's a wonderful game. Great job so far, and I'm going to be playing. I don't think I'm going to be playing anything else. And it's crazy. I got review codes for games after review, and I don't know if I'm going to get to them. I have to beat this game or finish this game before I touch them, because I can't get off of it. I can't get off the game, and so they got me hooked. So it's a really good game. That's my only, I guess, deflect on the game is not really has really what to do with the game itself. It's more of the reception that the game is getting. Some people are calling the game of the generation, best game ever on PlayStation 4, and it's getting all these crazy high praise, and rightfully so for the high praise. As a game, it is a very, very good game. As for in the God of War series, to me personally, easily the best God of War game and the God of War experience I've ever had. That easily, hands down. But not to ignore, God of War does feel extremely familiar. And when I say it feels familiar, I'm not going to mention Rise or anything like that, or Dark Souls. No, to me it feels familiar to other PlayStation 4 exclusives that came before it. I get a lot of reminiscence of The Last of Us. Though I haven't completed The Last of Us, I did play a lot of it to get a feel for how the game works and how that game inspired a lot of PlayStation exclusives going forward. I do get a whole lot of, for some reason, a lot of Uncharted 4. Like I played through the last two Uncharted, extensively, and it feels like, other than these crazy combat fights and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the sequences, the set pieces, the way that some of the platforming works, from getting from location to location, because it's not really open world. I get like this Uncharted Tomb Raider feel out of the game. It feels, like I said, it feels very familiar. I just feel like, take Kratos, right, and Atreus, and put them in a Uncharted universe. I feel like a lot of these PlayStation games now, there's a heavy reliance on this companion. Like in Uncharted 4, you had it felt like you were always in a companion experience, even though there's like no co-op. There was always someone there, whether it be his girl. I can't even think of the names. Whether it be Sam, Sully, or his woman, there was always somebody there. They try to create this dynamic relationship between you and a character, to controlling the pace of the game, or how the game is paced. Same thing with Last of Us. Obviously you had a companion there throughout the whole experience, and then you have and sometimes in some fields I get a little bit of a Horizon Zero Dawn reminder or reminiscent as well. Now, and the reason why I'm looking at some of the reception the game is getting is not because I think this game is bad or doesn't deserve it. It's the fact that games like Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, were also very, very good, and I do not see yet what God of War 2018 is doing that far exceeds the likes of Uncharted 4, the likes of Horizon Zero Dawn, or the likes of The Last of Us. I feel like, other than a slight graphical edge, because now I'm now the visuals of the game is now like, I guess, normalized to me now because I'm used to looking at the game now. I feel like because it's hard. I mean, I don't know who has the graphical edge between God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn, but I'm right now, because it's still fresh in my head, I'm gonna give the slight edge to God of War. But other than the visual fidelity of the game, the slight edge in visuals, I do not see what God of War does that's better than Uncharted 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn to make this game be game of the generation. Personally, me, at this moment in time, I have to wait till it's all over. I don't know if I have a game of the generation yet, but it just, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, either God of War is very, very good, or those other games that came before are overrated, or God of War is being overrated. One of the two. I mean, I feel like all these games play extremely, extremely similar, and that's why it's like it'd be different if I was coming into the PlayStation 4 with God of War being the first game I'm playing and not having played those other games. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is the shit. This is it. But I feel like I've just came off an experience like this. Granted, it's a different story. Granted, it's different characters, but there's still something similar about it. Whether it be how the design of the level is, how they want you to get through these worlds, and even though they're not really open worlds, they're more of and some people call it hub world, but I don't know. I call it Tomb Raider world because it's not necessarily open world, but you know, it feels open, but it's not quite, you know. But I guess that's the only thing. My only knock on it, and it's not really a knock on the game, it's the knock on the reaction. And maybe, I don't know, maybe these to you guys the game isn't familiar or like the other PlayStation 4 exclusives you pay, but of all the ones that I played, and I'm like, oh, it's great, but it doesn't feel that much better. It doesn't feel, to me, I don't think it feels better than the last two games I really enjoyed on a PlayStation 4, and that's Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted 4, like, and Uncharted Lost Legacy. Of course, I kind of combine them both. Like I said, it's really good. It's really good, but I wouldn't call the game of the generation, because I feel like if those games are, I feel like if this game is that great, then that means those games are like, should be really on par as far as considered as game of the generation. And there's like, I think a 7-point difference between God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. I was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the story, how it unfolds and how it finishes, maybe that determines that. But as far as gameplay, believe it or not, and I love games like this, gameplay is my least favorite thing about this new God of War. The pecking order for me of God of War so far, I'm ranking graphics first. That's the best thing about this game, because I haven't beaten the game yet, so I don't know how the story completely unfolds, but I'm sure it's getting there to be something crazy. Story so far amazing, but the gameplay is not masterful. The gameplay is not providing anything different than any game before it. This game does a good job at taking the best of what's been provided for it and blending it and making it work in this game without screwing anything up. The game also does a great job at trying to keep the action from previous God of War games, like the fight. The camera's not going to pan around, but he can still take down giants in an epic way. Kratos is not as angry as he once was. He's more tamed, but the gameplay, and I'm opening a lot of like the stuff that you can do in this game. The gameplay is not so much. I don't think the gameplay is that special of this game. You know what I mean? They changed the controls. It worked. The control scheme now works better because the way they changed the way the game looks and how you control the game. So I wouldn't be using face buttons on a game like this. So it was a smarter way to go with the way that they're allowing you to control the game. Much better fit for the way that it has changed. But the gameplay is nothing very special. Especially from other games that I played on the PlayStation 4, I don't think this is the best game for gameplay. Story's great so far. Graphics great. Yeah, the graphics amazing. It's probably best game. Yeah, easily the best game this year. Best game, looking game of the generation so far. So nothing against with the graphics and what the story is providing, but I feel like the gameplay, it's not anything special, and that's not a bad thing. It's nothing bad at all. It's just not like, I don't know what it does better than any games that I played before that also had great or better gameplay. As far as performance mode, this the performance of this game, I played on a Pro, I played on a base PlayStation. I did experience some frame rate issues. I usually don't notice slight frame rate issues, like, you know what I mean. I usually don't notice, but there's been a couple games where I started to notice, like, oh crap, the frame rate's jacked up. Where, like, this one instance in Bloodborne where it would just like tank, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? It was during that one fight. But in this game I experienced some issues where the frame rate is just off. I mean, it doesn't happen throughout the whole gameplay, but you can tell it's there, and that's me when I was playing on the Pro. But it doesn't cause too much of a problem. I'm not a fan of the performance mode because it's not a solid 60. It's a ranging unlock frame rate, and I mean, that's no good. I mean, if PlayStation 4 Pro supported FreeSync, then it would feel much smoother, but it doesn't just yet. So I rather look at the graphics in a close to steady 30 frames, and look at the glory checkerboard 4K, you know, work and the quality of the images. But I played on a Slim and I played on a Pro. They both look good. Obviously the Pro has a huge advantage as far as visual quality, but the game doesn't look bad on either platform. I don't have a rating for this game right now. I think it's very good. My only disagreement with the reception of the game is I won't call it game of the generation, only because I feel like arguably there is a conversation for Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted 4 when you compare these three games, and I'm not sure if it's too much better than those two games. But that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy my impressions of God of War. I'll probably be live streaming later on today, but I got some errands to run, some things to do. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button or hit that dislike button if you disagree. Like I said, that's just my thoughts, my early impressions on the game. Nothing negative. I had nothing negative to say about it. I just gave my reasons why I don't think it's the game of the generation. Game of the year, probably. I think it should easily beat out any game that comes out, even Red Dead, because I got a feeling they're going to mess something up. But game of the generation, no. All right. Peace, guys. Thanks for watching.